Hey guys, welcome to Classic Firearms. Just kidding, this is the good review of this gun. Don't thumbs down and rage quit. I know we both got handsome hosts, but unlike Classic, you might actually learn something over here at TFBTV. Now, I'd say this is a big reveal today, but CZ leaks more than a Peruvian submarine, so chances are you've already seen this on the internet. The good news is today's video actually adds value. I've got a behind-the-scenes interview with one of CZ's engineers straight from EWA 2025, plus a full James J. Reeves review. All jokes aside, this is one of those rare reviews where I'm genuinely excited to do it. Not just to shoot this gun, but actually keep it and probably carry it, but we'll talk about that at the end of this video. This is the CZ Shadow 2 Carry. I always liked the concept of the Shadow 2 Compact, but I never bought one mainly because it didn't have a firing pin block, which is kind of a deal breaker if you actually plan on carrying this gun. That's one of the first things CZ fixed with the Carry, but hey, rather than take my word for it, let me kick things off by handing it over to my buddy Dalibor from our sit down at EWA.
Hey everyone, James Reeves, TFBTV. Welcome to EWA 2025 with my buddy Dalibor here at the CZ booth talking about what's going to be, I think, one of the hottest releases of EWA 2025. That's the new CZ Shadow 2 Carry. Dalibor, tell us everything about it. I know a lot of people were waiting for this, myself included.
Okay, so once we released Shadow 2 Compact, the customers were immediately asking for more carryable version because Shadow 2 Compact is still the product based on Shadow 2. And the Shadow 2 Compact is just a pure breed competition model. We started immediately working on what we call Shadow 2 Carry. It's still based on Shadow 2 Compact, so it has the same ergonomics. It's based on the same forged aluminum alloy frame, nitrided slide, nitrided barrel. But it comes with some differences. As you can see, instead of the manual safety, there is a decocker, which is, of course, ambidextrous. The mag release is slightly smaller and lower.
You don't want to sit on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main difference in the trigger mechanism. And also, you can see that it does not have the universal optic-ready interface like Shadow 2. But it comes with a direct cut, which is compatible with the Shield RMS-Holosun K footprints.
407K, 507,
so for the smaller red dots, more suitable for everyday carry. And that allowed us to use or to keep the rear sights present on the gun, even with the red dot mounted. And the sights are, of course, co-witnessed with the mounted red dots.
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Essentially, what we're looking at is a blend of like a match gun, an ultra high performance gun, something that I can conceal carry as well. What's the magazine capacity?
So it's 15 rounds, and when you mentioned that it's based on the match gun, the truth is that the locking locks, locking dimensions, everything is the same like on Shadow 2 Compact. So the barrel is actually interchangeable, and the difference is only in the trigger mechanism and some other features. Like I mentioned, optics ready and other stuff.
I love the grips. I think the black anodized looks so cool, separates it from the compact last year with those lighter blue grips. But if I did want to change grips, I assume you guys are going to have a whole...
Of course, they are fully interchangeable in between the Shadow 2 Compact and Shadow 2 Carry.
This is a very important question because we're talking about concealed carry, holster compatibility.
Like as you can see, thanks to the same dimensions, same length, and also same shape of the trigger guard, most of the holsters for Shadow 2 Compact should be compatible. Of course, there might be some differences in the position of the red dot, and the controls are slightly different, but it should fit to the most of the holsters. It has to be, of course, tested too.
Dalibor, I love having you on the program because you've got this engineering background, you work on the design, you work on the testing. As we say in America, you're giving me the steak, but now it's time to get the sizzle.
That's true.
Come on, I want to hear from a real shooter about how this thing performs. It's my pleasure and my honor to have Mr. Eric Groffel on the program. Taran Butler, Grandmaster shooter, guy I've known for years. He always says, this is him saying this, not making it up, you're the best pistol shooter in the world. So I can't think, I know you're a modest guy.
I know. You said it.
He said it.
A lot of people are saying the same way or something.
Yeah, and I think the numbers say it too. So we're talking to the best pistol shooter in the world about the new CZ Shadow 2 Carry.
What we took the best from the Shadow 2, moved it into the compact, and the compact came to the Carry. So we have a sport pistol with, I would say, a CCW all features package for people that want this gun to be and sport, but also defense or concealed carry. So we got everything in there. You can use it for competition if you want, but for everyday life. I shot that gun 50 yards on like small, I would say, was that 7-inch plates that what we use in Europe. It goes bling, bling, bling. I use it with the optic ready. I'm getting old, so my front sight is not as good in focus anymore. It's terrible. It's terrible. It just works. So this is a fantastic in-between for people who don't know what they want. They just want one gun to fit all. This is it.
What advantages do I get with this system, like a hammer-fired system versus like your average striker-fired? And you know, I hate to pit CZ against CZ, but why would I get this over like a P10?
Well, the striker fire is a different mechanism inside. So we know it's a launched firing pin. So when it comes down to tuning, it's hard to tune like deeply a striker fire with like a super short reset with a pretty light trigger, single action all the way through. Here, you can actually change pretty much everything like on a sport pistol and still have it reliable. So we can go down with super light hammer spring here. Like me, I'm using a 10-pound hammer spring for double action. It fires no problem. You can tune also your recoil spring to what you want. Honestly, what I do recommend for optic-ready guns that people do not go lower than 11 pounds on their recoil spring. Going too light, basically your sight is taking like super hard strikes and it damages the sights at the end on a short, long term. Everything is really tunable on the double, single action firearm. And since this is a Shadow 2 based gun, everything is available already on the market. So there's nothing that you have to look for or search super hard. There's a lot of manufacturers that produce tuning part that will fit that gun anyway.
What optic do you recommend?
I'm also good friends with the people from Shield, so we're using the RMS C on this one, period.
And it's doing well?
It's doing super well. And you want a holster? I just picked up, was that like a couple of months ago, the .1 Tactic in the US, manufacturer of concealed carry holsters that works also actually for sport, for USPSA. They're just awesome, and they have that holster that fits for this gun. So there's a package here that you can buy very quick and have it reliable. After that, if you want to be good, there's no secret. You need to shoot. So, and that gun will take like a shitload of rounds. I mean, it's a cold hammer forged barrel that we know CZ is good for. Right. So the life expectancy of that barrel is like massive.
Oh, 99% of shooters will not outshoot the barrel.
You remember what we launched last year? We launched the lifetime warranty program.
Right.
This is it. So who cares? You take that gun, you can shoot.
Now that was back in February, and now here we are, mid-April. I finally get my hands on the Shadow 2 carry a week or two before filming this review, and I take it straight to Neutral Ground Gun Company in Araby, Louisiana. Myself and my business partner Sam ran hundreds of rounds through this during a grueling 3-hour range session. Our in-house trainer, Bro Christian, a veteran and an accomplished shooter and a CZ dork, summed it up perfectly.
Many rounds through the Shadow platform, and this, I'm surprised. The trigger's definitely a little bit different. I noticed myself flinching just because the take-up was more than I expected. Spoiled from shooting the Cajun eye shadows, but this is definitely a step in the right direction for making a safe to carry Shadow 2 platform without getting an SP01. It definitely shoots really well. I was able to track the dot super easily with double taps, and it's a Shadow 2. I'm a shill, so I love this thing.
Because of the firing pin block, the trigger's not as crisp as the Shadow 2 that you're used to, but it's nothing to scoff at either. You're getting a remarkably consistent 5-pound single action trigger pull and a 10-pound double action pull, 10.5 pounds. It's heavy, but it's smooth, exactly what you want in a dedicated carry pistol. After all, some of you are going to be carrying this thing in a plastic sheath less than half a foot from your hog, so a hair trigger isn't exactly what you want. If you want a top-of-the-line, best-of-the-best match trigger, maybe look at a 2011, but does that mean this gun compromises on accuracy? Maybe on paper, but I couldn't tell. Look at these rapid-fire groups at 7 yards. We've got a few more at 5 yards. We've got some at 25 feet. Lights out, Relatively rapid fire. I couldn't miss the A-zone if I tried at 7 yards and closer, no matter how fast I pulled the trigger. Controls are fine, traditional CZ functional, but I'd change a couple things. One of my biggest complaints, the ambi decocker. I'm not sure how important a raised, chunky, ambidextrous decocker is on a carry gun, but it adds a fair bit of width to the slide. That said, I also don't know how much it really impacts your ability to carry the pistol comfortably because I haven't done that yet. Same for the slide release, typical CZ75, bit high profile, bit chunky, bit redundant. Most of us, including me, go over the top to rack the slide during a reload anyways. If you want to see proper low profile controls, look at the PX4 carry or the SIG P365 series. Most of the time with the carry, you don't even need to rack the slide. That's because you get what my bromosexual partner and head of training at Thunder Ranch, Jack Daniel, calls a little gift from baby Jesus, an inertia charge. That's when you slam the mag home on a locked slide and the gun sends it. It's fast, smooth, and satisfying. I love it when it happens 4 out of 5 times with a solid reload on this gun. Here's a little montage for you. Now, one nitpicky negative, don't love having a pick rail on the dust cover of a dedicated carry pistol. I polled my Subscribe users and subscribers about this. Only about a third of you use a lighter or laser on your carry gun. So for most people, it just adds unnecessary bulk and weight. That said, even though 2/3 of you don't use a weapon light, I bet over half of you would be pissed if it didn't have a rail. Not sure that makes sense, but whatever. I threw my Surefire X300 on it, which is a bit ridiculous. Didn't say it made sense, though. I just did it because it's fun. One big plus, this gun looks sick. I think it's one of the best-looking handgun CZ's made. This is a tuxedo gun, the glossy black grips especially. Lindsay said they're too shiny, but I'm going to hope she never watches this video where I say she's dead-ass wrong. It also comes optic-ready with a direct mount cut for the Shield RMS footprint. I threw a Holosun 507K with the ACSS reticle on mine, one of my favorite carry optics. The dot sits low, iron sights are just tall enough to perfectly co-witness, and if the optic craps out, you still got a solid backup. I just wish CZ would have put tritium night sights on this thing. Instead, you get those kind of rechargeable, glow-in-the-dark sights. Now let's talk about reliability. I didn't clean it, didn't oil it, didn't do shit to prep it. I took it straight out of the box, put it through the paces. This pistol eats like a goddamn goat. I ran everything through it. 65 grain frangible, which is notoriously finicky. A bunch of non-toxic 115 grain S&B, steel case Wolf, standard range ammo, even a few boxes of my retired hollow points. That includes Federal HST plus P, various grain weights, and some Federal 9BP LE plus P plus, which is super, super hot stuff. The Shadow 2 carry chewed through all of it, not one single malfunction. From 65 to 147 grain hollow point steel case frange, didn't matter, it ran. For a carry pistol, that's exactly what you want. That all said, this is the Shadow 2 carry. So is it actually carryable? I'd say absolutely yes. The big talking point here is the weight. At right about 31 ounces unloaded with a magazine in and an optic, it's heavy, but not unmanageable. And the weight makes sense. You're getting a 70-75 aluminum frame, which gives you that metal gun stability without going full boat anchor like a steel frame competition gun. It makes recoil pleasant. It's going to make the gun robust, but if you're used to carrying something like a SIG P365, this is going to be a big change for you. To put it in perspective, one of my favorite carry guns is the SIG P365 XL with a Romeo optic and an empty magazine, 20.5 ounces. Take a step up to the P365X Macro, 17 plus 1 rounds. With a Romeo Zero, comes in at just 22 ounces. My Glock 19 Gen 3 build from B&T with a chunky aim point acro, just 24.25 ounces. The Glock 47, that's the Glock 19 frame with the Glock 17 slide and a Holosun SES, just about 25 ounces. The PX4 Storm Compact Carry LTT version, the Excalibur of carry pistols, in my opinion, weighs in at 28 ounces with a Holosun EPS. Contextualize that, the Shadow 2 carry, over half a pound heavier than the P365X series, but here's the upside. It's not oversized. Two-dimensionally, it's almost identical to a Glock 19, which has always been the sweet spot to balance performance and concealability. When you start to look at price, performance, weight, size, this is where the Shadow 2 carry kind of makes you think it's a pretty good option. You've got top shooters in this class like the Bull Armory SAS2 Ultralight, the PX4 Storm LTT. I'd put the Shadow 2 carry just behind both of those in terms of performance, but it's also a little bit cheaper than either. It definitely outshoots the Glock 19, the SIG P365, but it's about double the price. This is a textbook example of the Pareto principle. You can spend $600, get a Glock 19 that'll give you 80 to 90% of the Shadow's performance. It'll be lighter, slimmer, cheaper, easier to carry. But if you want that last 10 to 20% refinement, trigger feel, shootability, the frame material, you got to pay for it. And for many of you, that edge is going to be worth the pennies. So let's look at the Shadow 2 carry, how it stacks up against the competition from a dollars and cents standpoint. If you're on a budget, hard to argue against the SIG P365 XL. It's smaller, it's thinner, a full 10 ounces lighter than the Shadow 2 carry, but you give up some shootability, it's a little snappy, you're down 3 rounds of capacity. You could go slightly larger with the P365X macro, bump you up to that 17+1 capacity, great shooting, compact package, a lot lighter, around $600, one of the best all-around carry guns on the market today. Then there's Glock. The Glock 47 MOS between $600, $700 gives you a lighter option, great reliable shooter. My Glock 19 build done by B&T with the ultra-low acro mount and the relocated rear sight runs about $600 for the gun plus $900, $1,000 for the work and the optic. But it's a madman. I love this gun. Or you could just get Glock's new C.O.A. series, which I got to try out at SHOT Show. It includes a low mount aim point optic right out of the box. You're looking at $900 to $1,000 all in with the optic included. Honestly, that is one of the best deals for concealed carry right now. There you go, Glock. I think I just earned my paycheck this month. For about $1,100, you get the Beretta PX4 compact carry from LTT, including a trigger job, NP3 coated internals, and an optic cut. Throw a dot on it, you've got one of the best shooting and one of my favorite handguns of all time. I think the trigger is better than what you get on the Shadow 2 carry, but it's also pretty chunky. And despite being polymer framed, it's nearly the same weight as the CZ. Incredible pistol though, maybe a few bucks cheaper than the CZ. Then you have the Shadow 2 carry sitting neatly at $1,200 thereabouts. Honestly, solid price for an aluminum frame gun that shoots close to match level, and you're getting excellent build quality, great reliability, optics, ready, versatility at a price that doesn't feel silly. I have to mention CZ said that tariffs may impact the price of future shipments of this gun, so prices could go up in the next batch. Basically, you want one, get it now. I'm not your lawyer. This is not legal advice. Finally, there's the Bull Armory SAS2 Ultralight. Incredible 2011 style trigger, weighs less than the Shadow 2 carry, but comes with trade-offs. Double stack 2011 frame, big, really big. The recoil impulse is surprisingly snappy for a gun in this price tier. It's extremely accurate, but it'll run you about $1,750 plus. I honestly trust the proven CZ75 design over 1911 style pistols any day for reliability. So what's the verdict? This is almost a perfect metal frame carry gun. Bit heavy, but that comes with the territory when you're carrying a metal frame pistol. If CZ had included real night sights and slimmed down the controls a bit, this might have been the perfect metal carry pistol. But as it stands, if you care more about shootability and trigger feel than weight, this one's worth the splurge. You're getting 80 to 90% of the best possible performance like this versus like a staccato or a match gun or whatever. This gun shoots extremely well, but it's going to be safe and you're going to have a responsible trigger on it. I think this is a very fair price because it's cheaper than almost any 2011 worth of shit by an order of several $100s. So I am buying this one, and I'm going to need holster recs from you guys because this is the first CZ75 pistol that I have owned in 19 years. That's how much I like it. Turbo thanks to Ventura Munitions and Top Gun Supply for keeping this shitty channel running and supporting reviews like this one. Don't forget, every month we give away $1,500 in Top Gun Supply gift certificates to our Subscribe Star supporters at the $5 level and higher. If you haven't already joined us on Subscribe Star, dude, it takes you like 20 seconds. We need it because we do not take money in exchange for positive reviews. I just occasionally whore out for Glock, and they don't care that I make videos about this, talking about how great the CZ75 is. But the important thing is that you're watching now. I guess go check out Kaya's video over on Classic Firearms. Love you guys. Take care.